Hi everyone. So I know this video might be a little different than my regular video. I didn't know it at the time, but a lot of this video is just me reading. So if you want to listen to me tell this story and play the game, that would mean a lot to me. I also have memberships now, and that's really cool. If you'd like to support me, you could do that. Yeah, let's talk about my day. Wait. What are you doing? Don't change the channel. Don't change.
Turkey and ham Dijon. Turkey, ham, and the great taste.
Ball time.
Hello? Tina, I have a question.
Not the interesting part, but I'm just,
.3dwi.scr discovery pages. What is 3dwi.scr? 3dwi.scr is a freeware screensaver. The full title is 3D Workers Island, but most of us prefer to use the title name instead, pronounced 3D Whisker. In 3D Workers Island, 6 characters interact on a tiny island with complex and unpredictable results. Every session tells a different story on the island. Many have found it to be compelling on levels of both technical and emotional. T's 2 Top Software gave it a 10 out of 10 score and wrote about its characters. You will find yourself relating to them and understanding them. They may even confound you and anger you at times. The original source of the program is unknown. It was discovered at 3D Screensaver's Palace, one of the many aggregates of screensaver programs appropriated from sources across the internet. The owner of the website, by his own admission, sourced it from a similar screensaver aggregate and cannot recall which one. It has not been found. See the history page for history of 3dwi.scr's discovery and spread, as well as the development of this website. We recommend trying WISCR for yourself by downloading it from the download page. The events that occur in 3dwi.scr are not scripted. They unfold dramatically, and every session is different, which means that you are guaranteed to see things that none of us have seen before. If you discovered anything interesting or important that has not been recorded here or discussed on the forum, feel free to send us an email or create a thread on the forum asking about it. Please do not treat this place for tall tales. Check out the overviews page for a more detailed introduction. 3dwi.scr discovery pages was created by me, Palar, and the technical side is largely run by Singer. See further info on the contact page. Hi everyone, it's me, Corpe. Today we're looking at something really interesting. This is called 3D Workers Island, or 3D Whisker. This is created by the same guy who made Petscop. Yeah, that's fucking insane. I don't know what to think, but I hope you guys enjoy. So now we're at a download page. So there's an installer. Run the installer and follow the steps on the installation wizard. Afterwards, running Windows 95 or later, you can configure the screensaver by right-clicking on your desktop. I don't know if I'm fit for this. My computer is definitely not Windows 95. So on the left, characters Amber, Holland, Pat, Joe, Grace, and Rebecca. So I'm assuming these are the characters we'll be seeing. Okay guys, let me set up this file real quick. Welcome. This installation program will install 3D Workers Island. Thank you for installing my program. Press the next button to start the installation. You can press the cancel button if you do not want to install 3D Workers Island at this time. 3D Workers Island. Start installation. Okay. There are 6 characters: Amber, Holland, Pat, Joe, Grace, Rebecca. To find out who's who, reference the character card that appears startup. The workers are an approach to computation. Workers are an approach to computation. 3D Workers Island takes advantage of the resources in the world. Welcome to the world in this computer. Okay, well, I don't cut that shit out. Okay. 3D Workers Island. Pat, Rebecca, Joe, Amber, Holland, Grace. Remember these names, because I'm definitely not going to remember them. Oh shit. Okay, so I forgot their names already. So if it's not obvious enough, this is hiding something. So Joe is walking out with a watering can. Joe is watering the flowers. Okay. Watering more flowers. There's Amber. Okay. So I have a forum up right now, which I can switch to. But yeah, I don't think any of this is like relevant as to right now. But we'll see. We have the forum up just in case. So Amber's out. Well, Joe waters flowers. World. Oh shit, we have another forum. Hey, I just wanted to say this thing is so cool. My eyes are glued to it. I'm mesmerized. I just want to keep it on all day and see what people are up to, but my brother needs the computer for his work. Sad face. What do you think? What's happening on your island today? Ma, girl. Hey, yeah, it's a hidden gem on the internet. It kills the John Castaway thing my uncle thinks is so good. This is better because the people are like real people you're watching and you never know what's gonna happen next. I've seen dancing and squirming, the bathing games they play with objects, the awkward intimacy that looks like hugging sometimes, and other times look pornographic, frankly. Yeah, it's a hidden. Okay, what's happening on your island today? Holland has put her face inside a tree. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, okay, we're back to the island. So if it isn't obvious, I'm pressing my arrow keys to get it moving. It doesn't move on its own. So Rebecca is out making burgers, I assume because of what's on Amber's plate. Joe is standing next to the bench. There's Holland. Holland looks really young. And then there's Grace, who's kind of off in the corner. So the characters look to be enjoying themselves, I think. Oh no, Holland dropped her doll in the water. So Rebecca is kind of there. Amber's going to help Holland, I think. Rebecca gives a burger to, I forgot his name already. Joe, and Grace just kind of sits in the corner. She lays down. Okay, we get a zoom in on this scene. So Rebecca gives a burger to Holland. Okay. That's not a creepy picture at all. I think this is great. It's buggy and just weird. My roommate keeps talking about how he could do better. I'd like to see him try. He couldn't even program the turret in our tank game last semester. What an idiot. My mom hates TV, but she tells me to put on the virtual people. I put on 3WI on the projector, and she squints quietly in her recliner for hours. Peace for me. I like to keep it running on in a clove of my house and check up on it as I pass through. It's good for that. It can surprise you sometimes. The other day I saw Joe take a remote-controlled helicopter out of the house, fly it around. I've never seen that before. I keep hearing stories about this thing, but so far it's boring. I don't get it. I want to know what you guys are doing because I'm just starting up the program and watching it. Nothing is happening. The people are standing around, sitting around, looking around, walking around. They don't have faces, so I don't know what they're feeling or thinking. I don't know. What's going on here, guys? Which characters are you talking about? Which characters are you talking about? You know, some people have worked hard enough in their lives to deserve a rest already. Which characters are you talking about? You know, some people have worked hard enough in their lives and deserve a rest already. No, but seriously, what do you mean? I see plenty of activity on the island. I do feel a twinage, I don't know how to pronounce that, of annoyance when I see a character like Amber sitting around. I want to tell her, hey, you're young, do something. This reminds me of every copy of Mario 64 is personalized, and I don't like that. Actually, it does become entertaining over time. You just have to keep watching. I think you'll be surprised by what you see, but you have to be kind of open to it. You can be cool. You have to be cool. Be cool, and things will be shown to you. Personally, I love this screensaver. It's so fucked up. What does that mean? Okay, so there's Pat. Grace, and I keep forgetting this guy's name, Joe. I think his name is Joe. So they're all here. Pat turns around. What is that yellow thing over there? Is that like some sort of like pancake mixer? Hi, Pat. Pat is like looking around. Oh, there's Rebecca. What the fuck? Many different kinds of colorful 3D shapes appear one after the other, such as cubes, spheres, cylinders, cones, and rings. The shapes rotate and trace paths around the screen. Requires DirectX 5 or greater. This program goes above and beyond its predecessor by generating its mysterious caves and fly. 3D Cave 2 has you exploring an infinite realistic cave world and occasionally discovering surprising secrets, treasures. Real and spooky sound effects will make you wonder what is around the next corner. Keep watching for long enough and discover every treasure. What will you find? What will... And it's gone. So this is another screensaver, I assume. What will happen in this place? Requires a graphics accelerator with OpenGL support. And then the description for 3D Workers Island is just an island with people walking around on it. What the fuck? This is freaky. Not the good type of freaky. So Amber's mowing the lawn while Rebecca sits at the bench. The red house has no windows. Really interesting. So Amber is now clipped off the island and she's behind the house. What the fuck? Overview. What is this strange screensaver you have stumbled upon? The only way to really understand 3D WISCR is to try it. It works best without words, but I'll give you the best overview. When you start 3D Workers Island, it will display its 6 characters in a helpful character card that gives you a name for each one. Afterwards, you will be placed in front of an island, and you will mostly remain on that island until you decide to stop the program. The characters are powered by a kind of AI technology that the author refers to as worker simulation. It is clear from simple observation that this tech should not be taken lightly, but just how advanced this AI seems to be is an ambiguous and controversial question in the community. It is very much a matter of intuition at this point. At the very least, it's good enough to capture the imaginations of many. Whatever is happening under the hood, it is taxing to any PC. The program seems to be fluid. Whatever is happening under the hood is taxing to any PC. The program seems to be fluid in this way. It will use whatever resources are provided to it, but can make do with just about any system that is capable of displaying 3D graphics. Impressive or not, as technology, you will find this is a program of broad and infinite possibilities. Since retiring last November, I have been keeping 3D WISCR running on the desk in my study, in my bedroom, my living room, my kitchen, and my basement. All running around the clock as I do my household tasks as I live my life. What I see on these PCs throughout the day is continuously fresh and novel to me. It makes my home into a very pleasant little world. You will notice that the island is quiet. 3D WISCR does not play audio, unlike what you may find in the After Dark products and similar entertainment-based programs, but very much in line with the default package of screensavers in the Windows operating system, such as 3D Maze and Mystify Your Mind. The significance of this silence is considerable. It allows the island to disappear. Despite its heft, it's also light. There's a sense of ghostly transcendence, that none of it is really happening, and it can vanish with a flick of a mouse. This is so weird. Like, how do you describe this? Do you think that maybe the program has like addictive, like some sort of like trance? I don't know, I'm like thinking really outside the box. But there's Amber and Holland. So they're like talking to each other, I guess. What is going on? So Amber leans forward, reaches her arms up. Holland gets up and sprints inside, leaving Amber behind. What the fuck? This is from my son's island project for first grade, which took second place in the contest. I'm proud of him. Okay, I will admit, he mostly played pajama song while Mom and I built the island, but he did the written part of the assignment himself. Here are the photos. That's adorable. How is this relevant? Glad your son's school is teaching him about islands. Your living room is disgusting. Lol. You did a good job with the island. I have some advice. You should not do your son's work for him. Do not let him get used to the idea that you will do his assignments. Take it from a fellow parent. Oh, it's Pialer again. Thanks, appreciate it, but they were expecting parents to help with this one. You should see what other kids brought in. Anyway, he did the written part, as I said. My son doesn't like 3D Workers Island one bit. It scares him. He makes me turn it off. Kids are afraid of everything. My wife and I rented a tape of the Page Master to watch with her niece. Unfortunately, we got to the moment where Macaulay Cullin's in the library and gets overtaken and drowned in rivers of paint, and suddenly the tape went nuts and became unreadable. Her niece started screaming. Now she's afraid of getting drowned in paint and turned into a cartoon. What the fuck? I'm sorry, I had to add that in. I don't blame the people who made that movie for making a terrified Macaulay Culkin character get drowned in paint, but some kids really do think it's possible to get swallowed up into a cartoon prison where they can't escape. And hell, if I believed that, I'd be afraid too. Okay, we're back on the island. There's a carton of eggs there. There's Amber behind the house. And then there's Pat. Do you think Holland and Pat are related? Do you think Amber's like Holland's mom and Pat's the father? I don't know though, because Pat looks like he's wearing like a dress. What's going on? Okay, so Amber just falls to the floor. Did Pat push her? And like he's looming over her. What the fuck? I installed 3DWI on my school's computers. This happened back in October. In detention, they had me sit in the computer lab where I ostensibly wasn't allowed to play on the computers. Lol. But my computer lab teacher was in their grading office and I showed him 3DWI and explained it to him. I swear he was like enchanted by it. He wanted to install it on all the computers, so we installed it on all the computers together while eating donut holes. We had some problems and I had to call my sweet and angelic mommy to tell her why I was still at school. But we eventually got it working after 7 p.m. We turned off the lights and started going on every computer in the room. It was a powerful experience. Just all these different things happening on the island all around us on glowing screens in the dark and a silent computer lab at night. Way better than 3D pipes. It felt like this was I felt like this was the way 3DWI was meant to be experienced. I recommend putting this thing on as many screens as you possibly can. This is corrupting people. This is really corrupting people. What are you in detention for? Okay, I'll bite. Tell me about... I don't know how to pronounce that. Low dress code violations mainly. I also invented a fake skin disease called Cuddleokin, some shit like that. And I started incorporating it into some of my written assignments in English and history, even when I had nothing to do with anything. I'm glad you asked. Skin disease with 4 stages. Stage 0, redness and sensitivity. Stage 1, holes or gaps of various sizes exposing dermis. Stage 2, widespread loss of I don't know how to pronounce that word, I'm so sorry guys. Leaving only a number of skin islands of various sizes. Recession of islands, leading to complete loss of epidermis. Oh, is that how you pronounce it? What the fuck? Early stages can be treated and reversed, but stage 3 is irreversible. Stages 1, 2, and 3 are considered rated 10 on the 1 to 10 pain scale. Screaming and hair pulling in despair. So this is a connection, because they're talking about a fake island disease while doing like an island thing. Do you guys like to listen to me read, by the way? I feel like my voice can get kind of tiring. Okay, we're back on the island. So here comes Amber with a wheelbarrow. Holland and Pat are outside too. She's walking out with red balls in the thingy or something like that. Lays down. Holland lays down while Pat and Amber stare. Okay, we're back on the board. Who's your favorite character? Amber. No question, Amber. Amber is the answer. Amber's the answer. If I had to choose a favorite, tough one. Just kidding, it's Amber. Fuck everyone else. I'm offended that question is even being posed, but I understand. Why? You don't know any better. You're better off this way. I know we're not supposed to talk about those topics here, but can we at least be honest when it comes to the questions like this? I'm not going to pretend my favorite character is Holland or Grace or somebody else, just so things can stay clean on this forum. Can somebody fill me in on the joke here? What's wrong with the other characters? Amber would be a good choice and may have been mine, but I am sometimes put off by her lazy tendencies. Naturally, I would choose Pat since by confidence we share a name. And I believe that 2 children are hers. And I believe the 2 children are hers. Another coincidence is that I also have 2 daughters. However, I cannot help but feel attached to Rebecca. With her eye-catching red hair and shoes, it is a difficult question. Whoa, so now we get a zoomed out picture of the island. So there's Pat and Amber, and then Grace. Grace is so shut off from everything, it kind of scares me. So, wait, no, I think that's Holland. Yeah, that's Holland. So she does something in the water, runs inside. And Amber... What the fuck? Amber squirms? I have the characters list pulled up on my other screen so I can like remember the character names, but this is so weird because, well, not even that, even if they're not related, the way they act is still really weird. I don't like how Grace is so put off to the side. It makes me feel kind of uncomfortable when she's on screen. Computer Philosophy 1, Windows. There are part of windows everywhere. You see them, and anyone could be looking in at you. That's part of what makes them scary. But windows are even scarier when you're the one that looks in them. Remember the enthusiasm in the market for window into reality in 1960? What the fuck? Remember the enthusiasm for the market? Remember the enthusiasm in a market for window into reality in 1996? As the Nintendo 64 broke once lore project reality. Of course, the TV screen is really a window into fiction and not reality. The only real window of reality is the one we looked into as a baby and still cannot turn from. What called the common story theme of falling into asphalt imagery, we bring the inside into that outside, And the outside is the place we are stuck looking. This is the only meaning of I'm trapped in the TV, when we find out that reality is the thing we look into. But what does that mean? Where are we? What happens when something bad you find responsible for is there? What happens when something bad you find is responsible for is there, and you do nothing to stop it because it looks through a window and is not real? I'm trapped in here, and I may never return home. What do you mean? What the fuck, island? Okay, wait, we're now in a text exchange. MS toothpaste. Let me get like a water break. Okay guys, I'm back from that water break. That felt really good. Well, tell me more about that. So I was with my cousin last week for Thanksgiving. Since last year they live a 3-hour drive away. It got late and he took me down on a dark trail and scared me the piss out of me talking about ghosts and murderers. In a quiet moment, I thought I might change the subject, so I started talking about 3WI prompts of nothing. Turns out he knew about it, which caught me off guard. Ah! And he carried on with that exact same tone as was talking about. And he carried on with the exact same tone as when he was talking about the torture killers a moment earlier, but now we were talking about 3WI. As if telling me about a conspiracy or something. He went about the girl with the pink shirt, talking about Amber, and gave me this long list of ominous things to pay attention to in the screensaver. Oh, he's one of the Amber shitheads. Those people basically took down the old Discovery Pages website a couple years ago. Ruined a good thing. Yeah. Anyway, when we got back, we watched 3WI together until 2 AM on the slowest, crappiest computer in the world. We watched until suddenly the computer froze completely. But he told me it wasn't really frozen, that actually 3WI does that on purpose in order to hide things that are happening. Huh? I don't know. He was making things up on the spot. But I think they still meant something to him. Damn, we're back on the okay, we're back on the forum now. This is getting really interesting. So this program is hiding something really bad. Okay, so I almost don't know what to ask. I almost don't want to ask this at all, but I keep hearing certain implications about this screensaver that I don't want to repeat here. But you probably know that I'm talking about, I think maybe it's supposed to be a joke. But if so, I don't find it funny at all. Can somebody give me more info about this? Turn back now, don't go any further. Stop. For your own peace of mind, stop this line of inquiry now and do something else. Don't become another one of us freaks. What the fuck? Hold on, wait, let me reread this. Okay, this is so weird. Seriously, I wish I could go back to enjoying the screensaver normally. I want to be a normal person again. Please, God, let me forget. There are links that can be provided if you really want them. I can send them to your email, just let me know. I'm no coward. Please link. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not gonna last very long. What the fuck? So something is wrong with this screensaver. Ah, that would felt so good. So then there's Joe, and then there's I forgot her name. She's always facing away from us though. Grace. Here comes Holland carrying a lamp, places it down, walks to the beach edge, and now we're in a completely different area. The windows of my living room covered in walls with wide views. The windows of my living room cover the walls with wide views of my front and backyards, fill the room with light during the day and an air of vulnerability during the night. My brother crashes here. He sleeps on the couch against the back windows. Sometimes we sit together looking out of those windows and tell stories about the house beyond my backyard. A man lives in the house with his 2 sons. The curtains are closed and we imagine our own childhood replaying itself behind them. It's just a stupid game, really, making up stories about the neighbor. I think of it as a way to bond over past experiences. Somehow we get emotional about it anyway, but not emotional enough to do anything because of course it's a stupid game. There's no point in worrying about these children based on feelings and intuition alone. Still, we both find that our dreams become more vivid with time. Lately we've grown exhausted of that game, but recently I downloaded 3D Workers Island. It plays on PC in the corner of my living room. You should check out this program. It's a screensaver, which means it only starts when you aren't using your computer. But when it starts, you're on an island. There are people around and they don't do much. When they're outside anyway, naturally you wonder what they might be doing inside the windowless red house in the background. That's when things go wrong, when you start wondering that. And now we begin another game. As in life, concerns begets more concern. The reality is always worse than what you think it is. No matter how much you learn, it's always worse, and the only escape is to stop asking, stop digging, and stop learning. This is your chance to stop. The preferred resource for all things 3D Workers Island is called 3WISCR Discovery Pages, created and maintained by Pat Lahr. It covers everything a reasonable person would want to know. You should browse her website first, if you haven't already, because it's quite good. But Pat Lahr doesn't see what we see or chooses not to. I've created a different kind of resource here. I take your sightings and I display them for the benefit of others. Together we play the game the way it's meant to be played. Welcome to my website, Inside G3DWSCR. Beyond here are themes of violent abuse and torture. Continue if you can handle that. Oh, this is so weird. Oh, fuck. I feel like I'm getting into something that I shouldn't. So now Amber, Holland, and this guy, I keep forgetting his name. So now Joe, Holland, and Amber are all outside. Joe looks around, gets up, picks a flower, I guess, walks around, and all of a sudden we're back here. So Pilar is doing something. I removed your link because it breaks the following rule. Don't post weeks to the website, you know the one. It's nothing more than a connection of perverted creative writing prompts. I cannot usually be strict about something like this, but clearly there are too many here who cannot stay reasonable and sane while discussing the content of this particular website, so I make the hard decision of banning it. You guess what I can think about this topic, but let me explain the phenomenon occurring here. The fact is, many internet users are children and young adults, and children like to play games. What this means is you can occasionally find yourself unknowingly pulled into the games played by children. On the website, you will primarily find stories told by kids to scare other kids. You will also find so-called analysis of these stories that treats them as the true fact, to give them legitimacy, but there is no evidence to be found here. I hope I cleared things up for you, buddy. Shut up, Pat. Anyway, more links. Good info about John Sorroway, Stories of Reality. Fuck. Thank you, Pilar, well said. These violent stories are cheesy and over the top, blood and guts. Believe me, I've been watching this program for so long, I would have seen such things by now. If the screensaver won't open up to you, maybe you need to look within yourself to find the problem. What the fuck? What the fuck? No, like, I'm being dead ass. What the fuck? What do you mean look inside yourself? You love to think that it's all bloody, screaming children long before I began seeing the violent shit. I saw the way Amber was treated by the other islanders. I saw her tiredness. I saw her subtle messages. But you just point at the bleeding children and laugh. Alright then. Why is it always Amber who gets abused and killed in these made-up scenarios? Don't get why this community has an obsession with torturing her specifically. You're all freaks and psychopaths. It's my best guess. Maybe I should create my own section for dealing with 3U SCR hoaxes. Snopes.com has a good system for these. I would give every one of these stories a red spear of falseness. False, false, false! Good question. People have a strange amount of concern for Amber. It is a mystery to me. Wait, let me go back. Jesus effing Christ. Okay, I'm getting notifications. It's Corpina, guys. Let's answer Corpina real quick before I keep reading. Jesus effing Christ. That website, the screenshots and pictures on there are insane. Some of them are obviously straight out of Photoshop. Others, I don't know. They're all low quality JPEGs, but it's worth. It makes it easy to hide flaws. So there's Holland. I don't almost close my browser on accident. Oops. So there's Holland. Walking into the wall. She turns to the right, keeps walking, turns around, and what the fuck? Okay, this is what I think is the website they were talking about in the thingy. Okay, yeah, we're still recording. We're still recording. Welcome to the inside of 3D WICR. You'll find the content missing from Pialer's 3WICR discovery pages. Her website should be your source of general information about the screensaver, but come back here when you're done. Pick a category on the left and browse our collection of user-submitted sightings. Download 3DWICR and let us know by submitting an sighting. Oops. Thanks for visiting and telling us your stories. I'm receiving so many emails from the Sam Ferrero business, though it's not many contention in whether the screenshot of Amber's rare black shirt is real. There's a lot of disagreement about whether the picture on her shirt is really from Sam Ferrero, since it doesn't exactly match any of the known publicly released photos of him. I've expanded this section to include some of your comments. On the section of photos, I removed the user-submitted photo from PJR pin at the request of the original owner. I'm planning on overhauling the categories soon. More details to come. Added a link to Grace's guilt. Greatest quote, lucky for that girl, her story, because an urban legend. Most people don't believe it really happened, even if they are fascinated anyway. Let me reread that. Added a link to Grace's guilt. Great quote, lucky for that girl, her story becomes an urban legend. Most people don't believe it really happened, even if they are fascinated anyway. A perfect disappearing act. The girls... ¿Por qué siempre arruinas mis recordings? What happened? What happened? I've added a link to Grace's guilt. Great quote, lucky for that girl, her story became an urban legend. Most people don't believe it really happened, even if they are fascinated anyway. A perfect disappearing act. The real transforming into fiction. Now she lives in her disgraceful retirement in the remote world of a cartoon. But reality will haunt her conscience forever. Added an avalanche of screenshots to strange faces. I can't believe people are walking to the bathroom at night and seeing these things. Making this website has convinced me to never run 3DWR after bedtime. Thank you, Pilar. No sounds, no faces. Wrong on both counts. Falling behind on emails. Sorry everybody, but pray for my brother because he's been having a hard time lately. He's in the hospital now. Sometimes I've been broken in ways that don't hit you until decades later. I expect my turn to come soon. When that day comes, my brother will be alive to support me. But for now on, let's go. So there's Amber, Pat, and Rebecca, and they are inside of each other. What the fuck is going on? And now they're like, what the fuck? PGR pin. The PJR pin is one of the 3 WICR's first popular sightings. The letters PJR stand for Pat, Joe, and Rebecca, 3 characters on the island. When these 3 adults approach Amber in the following information facing her, it's called a PGR pin. Amber is the center of the information. The PJR pin is complete unless all 3 adults are close enough to prevent Amber from moving, or in other words, to pin her in place. This is a strict and specific requirement that is not met often. Formations in this particular shape are uncommon between any 4 characters. When they do form, they're spontaneous and brief. They'll usually reorganize themselves into more stable circles, or rather diamonds like this. Why is PJR pin so significant? According to the stories, it triggers the following sequence of events. All 4 characters disappear instantaneously. The world is replaced with darkness. In the darkness appears a photograph of a child in clothes that resemble Amber's pink stripes. She is sometimes injured, sometimes not. An audio clip of a young woman's scream or multiple screams play from the speakers. It can usually interpret it as Amber's voice, but sometimes as the voice of an off-camera witness. The world reappears Pat, Joe, and Rebecca, and Amber reappear at the front door of the house one by one. Amber is the last to appear. No evidence of the event remains. Most accounts miss the first 3 steps in the sequence. It's only when they hear the screams that they start paying attention to what's happening on screen. 3WICR doesn't officially play audio, but stories report sounds they usually describe very loud or quiet sounds like screams or whispers with little in between. We have a page just for whisper-related sightings, most involving Amber's pleas for help. Much pride is taken in the skill of recognizing these whispers as quickly as possible, since they often precede other events which screenshots are desirable. No whispers precede of the PJR pin, unfortunately. Photographs are also a common theme in these sightings. 3DWICR appears to have a heavy preoccupation with a real world, and in particular with real humans' bodies, of living and healthy to mangled or emancipated or dead, or in this case, even when Amber doesn't display any physical injuries, her transformation into a human body is often interpreted as an act of violence itself. In general, any movement between fiction and reality in either direction is treated with an undertone of terror. Who is the girl in the picture? Depictions of the photo vary. It may be the people seeing the same photo and remembering it differently. It's not hard to believe that the disturbing and sudden scream is shocking people into seeing or remembering injuries that aren't there. But it's also possible that 3WICR is displaying different photos of the same girl at varying levels of injury, perhaps depending on the context of the simulation, as Amber's plight has been shown to progress in the severity over time. Who is the girl in the picture? Until we have a legitimate screenshot, we have to little to go on. And this one has proven challenging to capture. Jake the Medico had quite a fright. He writes, "I'm never running it overnight again. Holy shit, it woke me the fuck up. I've never been so scared in my entire life. I was asleep and then the ear-splitting scream. What the fuck? Pilar lied to me. Her website says that there is no sound in the screensaver. Well, guess what? There's sound, motherfucker. Ashley B heard it too and caught a look at something interesting. Ashley writes, because it was last thing I've ever expected to happen in 3WI, I have to admit that I jolted and shaking for a good hour. Afterwards, I knew the discovery pages were wrong about other things, but somehow this one I trusted, and well, my volume was turned up quite high, so it was really something else. I got the shortest glimpse of the screen before it reverted back to the status quo. It was dark, but I saw a dim shape of a human realistically proportioned, dressed in pink and white like Amber, a photograph. I think it wasn't moving. Oh shit, wait, we need to go back. It was bad. Oh god, lol. I can only laugh now, but I'm done with the screensaver now, for real this time. I think one scream repeated 3 or 4 times, or maybe it was more than one scream, and the image was a tasteless display of, I don't know. I thought they were formed of like a diamond, like the thing said, but it's Joe, Rebecca, that one girl. I thought they were all in like diamond formation, but it's just Joe, Grace, Rebecca, and Holland. So we're missing Pat and Amber. There's a computer and a lawnmower. Holland falls over, laying on the grass. They're talking. This is so weird. So they turn to look at each other, look around. Rebecca holds out her hand. It's getting worse and worse. The more I watch, the more I notice, the more I understand. The more bold it becomes with things it shows me. Every time I come into a new revelation, the screensaver shows me more, but most people don't see these things, and I have someone in the room with me. They don't happen. Are you telling me Pilar, with 10 billion hours she's been watching TWI, hasn't seen any of these things? Getting dangerous in here, lol. Pat Lar is a criminal. I have a family who used to live down the street from her. Nobody in their right mind would trust Pat Lar. Pat Lar shouldn't be trusted to run 3D Workers Island fan website. She should be in prison. Anyone who wants details is free to message me. I'm Good Kid 85 on AIM. Damn it, Good Kid, haha. And he's banned. That was fast. Pilar is always online. She reads every post the second you submit it. You cannot evade her. And then we have Pat on the screen. So I'm guessing Joe is the only male here. I guess. I don't know. I don't want to like assume or anything. So on the computer, it goes around the house, around the back, and there is the world and a star. What the fuck? What is this showing me? What is this supposed to mean? Update 424.99. I've decided to stop posting new submissions to this page. This is one of the most well-documented sightings, and at this point I'm receiving most redundant info, thanks to everything I've sent in. Worker degradation is something akin to injury or damage. This damage is associated to an active entity, which 3WI calls a worker, hence the name of this page. It's not clear to me how this term came about. It was invented by 3WI's authors, yet it implies a bit of knowledge about the screensaver's intervals, and the injury is associated with some fundamental way with the underlying worker concept. This is especially strange since the only documented cases of worker degradation are tied to one character, that being Amber. Therefore, it seems premature to generalize this term to such an extent, but I'll use the established name. If you've seen a red amber, you've seen worker degradation. This is an early stage. After this comes compression, and the result looks like this. This red ball is seemingly inert. It doesn't move or interact with anything, but yes, the red ball is amber. What the fuck? This state has been interpreted as representing dehydration, malnutrition, or mutilation. And other photographic sightings seem to confirm all these interpretations equally, but most of all has become associated with small muffled screaming and therefore in pain. It doesn't take long for this red ball to start shrinking and quieting down until sooner or later it can be seen or heard by anyone. It can't be seen or heard anymore. Amber will usually respawn from the house at some time of compression. Amber will usually respawn from the house at some time after compression, even while the red ball is still visible. The program will eventually continue as usual. Letting the screensaver go for long periods of time has unlocked something, and now I'm seeing all sorts of funny shit like a red amber. She goes in the house, comes out redder, goes in the house, comes out redder, comes back redder again, comes back weird and slow crawls around until pop, she's just a ball on the ground that everyone ignores, and that's that. I went away for 8 hours, and when I got back there was a bunch of red spheres scattered around and making noise. Altogether it sounded like a chorus of distant humming, and now I'm wondering just how long my dog had to listen to that shit. Just how many of them are sitting at the bottom of the ocean. I can't help but feel hopeless about everything. Nobody will ever help me, and I never help myself. I'm too afraid to even reach out. I'm not even writing this right now. This message exists only in my head. This whole website exists only in my head. 3D Workers Island, what's that? Would I really put this online? Would I really give anyone the inside glimpse into my world? This is fake. This is all fake, and nobody will ever see it. What the fuck did I just read? So we have Grace sitting around. So the red ball was Amber. Remember when she came out, mowed the lawn, went outside, and then she came out with a wheelbarrow of red balls? I wonder what context that ends. What the fuck is that? Oh, there's things falling from the sky. Recession of the islands. So red balls sink from the wheelbarrow into the water. You get a zoom out, a really big zoom out. 3D Workers Island, a thing by Tommy Domingo. That's it. That's it. Now let's go. Oops, I opened a new tab. Let's go to 3D Workers Island Web Original. So we have multiple things to read and to look for context of. I'm gonna go through a few that I think are the most interesting, because if I were to sit here and read all this, I'd probably be reading for another half hour. But I'll find the ones that I think are the most interesting. Abusive parents. Pod is often cruel to Amber and even shoving her against the wall at one point. Pilar's posts are to be believed. Pat is Amber's mother, making this behavior even more disturbing. Worse still, some users are reported seeing real photographs of a girl who resembles Amber in various states of distress and implied that Pilar might be Pat. You know, I was actually thinking that. And it calls back to how Pilar was getting arrested. It might be for something like child abuse, which is something you should never do, and that's horrible. When I first did it, I thought Pat was male, but now I'm like really looking at the characters. And I must scream. The Grace's Guilt page mentioned inside 3WICR 4/24/1999 update implies Grace to be trapped within the screensaver, forever fictionalized and haunted by reality. Now, Grace never faces the camera, never interacts with us, and I think that's terrifying, because I'm scared that, like, the whole time I was thinking that Grace was going to turn around and Grace was going to have, like, a face or something, but no. Let's start highlighting these so you guys know what I'm reading. The awful truth. The true nature of 3D WICR isn't discussed openly by those who believed in it because the idea can never be unlearned. What if the guys like fake disease is part of the game and that's what the red ball thing is? I really don't know. Okay guys, this is where we're gonna end the video. Any updates, anything to come, I will probably make another video on this. This was terrifying. This was really scary to go through. Reading through these old forums and playing this was an experience. It's so trippy and you really never know what's exactly going on with these islanders, and I feel like that's part of the horror and how people react to it all. Terrifying. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and until next time, bye.